What's up, Average Dad fans? As you know, I like to give honest tech reviews covering many different areas of technology. Today I'll be focused on the wireless earbud market. It seems like if you go onto social media or pretty much any website, every company's making their own set of wireless buds. In fact, I'm pretty sure you can go to Tupperware or Tefal and order a frying pan and a set of buds while you're at it on their website. What I want to do is not even acknowledge all the crap in the market and focus on three of the best. I have the Microsoft Surface Buds, the Beats Powerbeats Pro, and the Sony WF-1000 XM3s. I'll be comparing these to each other and giving them a rating in four categories. That's price, design, functionality, and everyday use. Stay tuned if you want to see more. Let's go. Okay, so first up category, what you all want to know is price. The Sonys are £163 on Amazon. Pretty good deal, I'd say. Pretty good deal for what you're getting. So £163 on Amazon. I will give that a 3.5 out of 5. Because let's be honest, £163 is still expensive and I can't use them for something that I really like to do, so yeah, 3.5 for that. The Powerbeats Pro were £250 new. I've had these nearly a year. They are now down to, well, you can get them as low as £169.99, so £170 on Amazon. So for that, given that we'll get into what I use them for, but they're getting a 4 out of 5 as far as price. The Microsoft Surface Buds are £200. Okay, I can see maybe, somehow, maybe, but no. Are they 20% better than these Sonys? Absolutely not. The design, we'll get into that, but no. £200 is steep. Price point for them should have been £150. So for that reason, the Surface Duo get a 2 out of 5 for me. So design, well, as you can see, the first earbuds I want to rate are the Surface Buds. Now, it's my first time owning a Microsoft product, and as far as design goes, the case is fantastic. It's half the size of the other two. The buds themselves are not so fantastic. The buds kind of look like those fake coins you get for your kids to play with their tills, like the old grey 50p's. They're just cylindrical discs that sit in your ear and look pretty stupid, if I'm being honest. So for the Surface Buds, design wise, and it's only because the case is actually so good that they're getting this score, I'm going to give them a 2.5. Moving on to the Sonys. Now the Sonys have a very good looking case, but is twice the size of the Surface Buds, which is going to bring its rating down a bit. And why am I talking about the case? Well, that's part of the design. At the end of the day, most people will see the case if it's sitting on your desk, or you pull it out on the bus or whatever. So it's important when you talk about design. The buds themselves, these are probably the best looking buds as far as aesthetics. They look futuristic. They're kind of how you imagine buds to be. Relatively small in size, sit in the ear nicely. I really like these earbuds. So combining the case and the buds themselves, I will give these a 4 out of 5 rating. And now, finally, the PowerBeats Pro. Remember, this is just design. This is not functionality or anything else. So for design for the PowerBeats Pro, I'm just going to get straight to the point. The case is huge. The buds themselves are a lot better looking than the old PowerBeats 2 and PowerBeats 3s, but they are still bulky. I appreciate they're over ear, so they're slightly different, and the over ear works, trust me. Later on you'll find out why. But design wise, PowerBeats Pro for me, they're better than the Surface. They're not as good as the Sony, so 3 out of 5. Okay, next category, functionality. Well, they're all wireless buds and they're all truly wireless. They will connect to any of your smart devices. Obviously, if you have an iOS device, a PowerBeats Pro, now that Beats are owned by Apple, connect with that H1 chip seamlessly, straight away, and you'll instantly get the battery life. So functionality wise, that's really good. But I'm not actually going to include this in my rating because the other two connect just as well to iOS or Android devices. So if we just take out the fact that, look, they're the same. You hit the Bluetooth button, click connect, and they're all going to connect, okay? Functionality, I'm more thinking along the lines of how you can answer calls, volume buttons, all that kind of stuff. So I personally like a clicky button. So this may sway my decision, but the only headphones of the 3 to have an actual physical click button are the PowerBeats Pro. So the PowerBeats Pro, you get that live haptic feedback or that instant feedback from the click that when you play or pause or hold for Siri, that really works. I have found using the Surface buds for a few days and the Sonys, because they have touch sensitive pads, it is so easy to tap 3 times instead of 2 or vice versa, so you're skipping a track rather than going back, and again vice versa. The volume is a nightmare. On the PowerBeats Pro there are clicky buttons, it's volume up and down, so straightforward. But again, on the, well, I'm going to be entirely honest here, on the Microsoft Surface Bud, I still can't get the volume to work. I've been listening to any music or podcast at full volume when it comes to the Surface because I would have to get the phone out. So any testing I've done, I can't figure out how to work at the volume in the Surface Buds. I know there's a touch sensitive pad and you should be able to swipe up and down, can't get to work. The Sonys, again, volume. This time the touch sensitive thing does work slightly better for the volume up and down, but it's quite small and I find myself going to the phone more often than not. So PowerBeats Pro, straightforward. Click the button for up, click the button for down. So on that basis, given that they're all truly wireless earbuds, so they're all level on that, so they're all going to start off with a 2 for being truly wireless. They're all going to get an extra point for easy sync because nowadays it is easy to sync, so they've all got a 3 as a minimum. But that's where the Surface Buds stop. They're getting a 3 out of 5 for functionality. The Sonys are getting a 3.5 purely because the touch sensitive pads seem to work a lot better and the noise cancellation and ambient sound modes on the Sonys are pretty fantastic. So they're getting a 3.5, and the PowerBeats Pro will get a 4 from me in this category as well. Just want to touch before I move on that I've not gone into great detail about the noise cancellation, ambient sound. Because they're buds, it's very hard for me to sit here and say that they're going to cancel out sound like over-ear headphones like the Sony XM4s or the AirPods Max. They're just not going to do that. They're buds. Ultimately, the louder you have the sound, the more you'll cancel out. That's just how it is. Same with transparency mode on the Sonys. It's there to a point and it's smart audio awareness or whatever they call it. but again, if you have your volume up quite high, you ain't hearing much around about. Turn it low, you'll start to hear. So that, to me, that's not truly noise cancelling or ambient sound. So I've just given it, I've not even factored that really into the rating, other than with the Sonys, because they do actually try and they do a little bit better than others. So again, to recap, 3 for the Microsoft, 3.5 for the Sonys, and 4 for the EARBUDS Pro. Okay, the final category, everyday use. So, my everyday, well, not quite everyday during lockdown, I've been piling on the old pounds, but my typical use would be work, exercise, consume content. So for all three, for work, all work perfectly. In a quiet office environment, all 5 out of 5 in that respect, because the sound quality is really good for Zoom calls, Teams, whatever video conferencing platform you use. The exercise part is where this is going to have a big polarizing gap here, in that the Sonys and the Microsofts are in-ear buds with no over-ear hooks. So you're truly relying on them being really stuck in your ear, or in your ear canal, or ear. They just don't inspire confidence when it comes to running. Now, I did try some general jumping jacks and stuff like that, and they did stay in. However, I would not be as confident to go for a long run, or a trail run, or anything like that using those two buds. Whereas the EARBUDS Pro, I have used for 1 year. I've actually had the EARBUDS Pro for a year, which I guess is another testament to how good they are, because they've been used almost daily for the year, and they're fantastic. So, including everyday use, I'll give a 2 in general for the Sonys and the Microsofts, but 5 out of 5 as far as fitness. So we can combine that everyday use, as I mentioned, consuming media content. This is where the Sonys and the Microsofts actually have an advantage over the EARBUDS Pro. Comfortability. Comfortability? Yeah, that seems like a word. The EARBUDS Pro, because they're over ear, which is great for exercise, for a run, half an hour, 2 hours, absolutely fine. But if you're just lying down and you want to watch a movie or something, after a while, at the top of your ear, it starts to get really quite sore. So, listen to me, it gets sore. But you can certainly feel it. You know they're there. With the Sonys and Microsofts, or Surfaces I should say, you don't feel them. You could easily just fall asleep and not even realise they're still in there. That's the best features, or the best everyday use case scenario. So I guess what I'm saying here is, if you don't exercise, then they're all pretty similar, but more comfort out of the Sonys and the Surfaces. If you exercise, there is only really one choice. So for everyday use, I'm going to give them all a 4. So Surfaces and Sonys lose a point for the exercise, but the EARBUDS Pro lose a point for comfortability. So that's been the overall ratings. You can see here from the points, the EARBUDS Pro take the lead just, followed by the Sonys and the Surface Buds in last. But only a couple of points separating them all, so you can see there that any one of these headphones, depending on your usage case, are going to do you well for a long time. And I should say that these are all going to last years if you need them to. And another important point I just want to finish on, because it's obviously important when it comes to headphones, is the sound quality. If you're looking for bass, buy the EARBUDS Pro. If you're looking for clear lower ends, tones, instrument separation, by the Surface Buds. The Surface Buds have very close to the best I like about bass, otherwise the Surface Buds would have the best sound. And in last place is Sony's. Now I'm not rating these because they're all very, very good sounding earbuds, so they're all would get a high rating. It's just your preference. Again, if you like more bass, then it's the Beats for obvious reasons. And the Sony's sound almost as good as the Surface Buds, but like if you listen to like Metallica, you'll notice the snare and all the different instruments that are getting used on the Surface Buds. Really cool. So that was that. That was my rating. Thank you very much for watching. I'll be back again with another video where I will be discussing a new microphone that has been sent to me very kindly by a very nice company. So I'll review that in the next video. Take care. See you soon.